So this design will be for my client. He wants on his right arm, it's gonna be here. So if you haven't seen a video where I speak about the placements and how you need to design for specific placement, go check it out, because there's a lot of information about how and why you need to take all these information, because it's really important if you design for like that specific area that the whole design flows, goes nicely with the body. It doesn't look weird, it doesn't look out of place, it doesn't just look like just chucked on there. Just place it, whatever, it doesn't matter. It does matter. It has to flow, it has to look good, and it has to look like that design was designed for that area, okay? What we're gonna do now is we're gonna do a ship. If I remember correctly, there's a ship, like the main piece, the main character. There's a rope going around, as in old school tattoos, old neo-traditional, that kind of work. There's some Japanese water going around it. So we're gonna take these main elements and we're gonna work around it. I already spoke with that guy, he said he's open to ideas, so I'm gonna make a little bit more interesting, just not like basic ship or basic that. We're gonna, my idea is to twist the ship a little bit so you can see more the front coming out and it goes more like into depth. So it just looks a bit more real, not just like a selfie mode or ship. Nothing interesting. We're gonna do a ship, we're gonna do a rope around it, we're gonna do Japanese water. What I need to remember is we're gonna do a sleeve with this one. It's gonna be full on. I need to finish in a way where I can easily start next one. I'm not one of those people who like to do a tattoo next to tattoo and then you just put shading in between. I think that's just not good at all. What I like to do is to design the whole sleeve or half of the sleeve in a way where you can add elements and the whole thing flows like a one piece, as it would be like a one big massive stencil stuck on a line all at once, and you would never say that's multiple sleeves and multiple tattoos next to each other, because that makes the whole design as a one design. That's what I'm aiming for. How you get that, it would be not finishing with like really hard edges, not with the elements on the sides or up and down where it cuts off something. So for example, on this one there will be a ship on the top of here and there will be a rope going around, so it means finish, like end, that's it. Nothing else is going to be up on top of that as far as I know. And for the bottom part, I'm probably going to do water, which is going somewhere but you can't see the end, so I can twist the water wherever else I need, which would go like all around here. Yeah, if that makes sense. So the water would flow into it. Once it's in there, I can make water flow all around the arm. Yeah, so I'm gonna play with them shapes. Ship, I can't really twist the ship. I can make the angles a little bit different, left and right and up and down, and you know what I mean, like if it looks like that, you can twist as much as you wanna, but it still has to look a good ship. Where other elements you can play around, maybe some ropes like in and out and that. So that's what we're doing today. Let's get some pencil lining. What I'll do now is probably, what I mostly do is I sketch up quickly with a pencil. I place out all I needed. I get the composition, I get the placement. So for example, the ship will be somewhere around here. The sails will be up there, the rope will finish it, and then we're gonna add water like all over the place to fill up the gaps and then carry on or finish the sleeve. Then I get to the point where I finish-ish, kind of like I get really clean with pencil. That is the moment I take a photo and I send to my client, and I wait for his approval. If he doesn't like some of the elements or some of the composition, I still have the time to change it, which means I don't need to redraw the whole thing. I can only like delete one or two elements, maybe make something a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger. It's not bigger issue, but if you do and finish with like pen or something, you can't wipe it off so quickly, then that becomes a problem. So what I do is I get the whole thing done pretty much with a pencil, then I take a good photo, I send him or send to her, see what the client says, because not always you can draw and it's bang on, like it's perfect, they love it. Sometimes they want like a little bit here and a little bit there, some extra changes or a little bit different placement, or you never know, because humans don't have this ability to read people's minds. So which means you have to take that in consideration. Like, it could happen. Sometimes people just don't wanna. As far as I've seen online, on Instagram and other people designs, there is times where I look at that design and I'm thinking, I would change this to that, I would do something differently, I don't like this area, I don't like that area, I don't like that. Which means if that person would design that for me, those already like are in my list what I would like to change. So that's what you're gonna get back to you. If you design for them and they don't like it, there's a big chance they're gonna send back to you and say, listen, sorry, I don't like this part, I don't like that part, so you need to be ready for that. And that's the reason I take a pencil and I send to them, and then they give me feedback. If they love it, I literally finish the whole thing. If they don't like it, we're gonna do some tweaks, and that's literally what we're gonna do now. I'm gonna drop this, we're gonna take a photo, I'm gonna message him, send me back, and I'll let you know what he said about this design. Maybe we're gonna get to one point and we're gonna redraw, or maybe not. You're gonna see, guys, what's gonna happen. So let's get some sketching done. So this was the first session, laying out what is sitting where. He just messaged me, he said he wants a sun and a moon somewhere in this tattoo, which I think for the sailors, they do use quite a lot of sun and the moon to navigate themselves. So why did I place that area and that area for the sun and the moon, or I don't even know which should be what. What I do know is this can be bang in the middle of his shoulder. Yeah, that's the center. So I wanted to be them equal there and there. Just to have a perfect composition, you need to have, if that is the center, and those two needs to be pretty much equal side to side, so they make sense, balances out each other. So what I'm wondering afterwards is, I'm probably gonna go with the rope about halfway there, literally finishes just before the sun. Then I'm gonna carry on, but in these areas I'm gonna make like it's broke apart, like it just snapped kinda. Same goes here, equal distance like that. Yeah, that's the distance, that's the distance, keep them equal, and just make sure it doesn't go too far, too close, so all of them look the same. Another thing, once you do a rope, make sure every bend which goes like that, try to make sure that you got all of them in the same size. Make sure this is the size and keep it that way. So you would go just like that. Sometimes what I do is I drop the size kind of size lines first, and then I just go and round them up. That makes my life easier. But make sure you have them equal, so it doesn't look like one is thin, another one's a little bit thicker, and then on and on. It gives that unprofessional look. Make sure they're all the same, and even the sides, try to make sure these pretty much look the same. So it's the same rope. You just carry on, same pattern all the way through all the design. And probably rope will be the one what I'm gonna try to extend through the whole design, so the whole arm goes in the rope. It might be a case where I'm gonna tattoo this one, then I place the next design, I just carry on the rope all around. Might be freehand, might be not, but I reckon I'm gonna keep the rope theme wrapping around the arm, and maybe I'm gonna put some more elements onto the rope. So probably in the future he will want a compass. I could put a rope around that. He probably is gonna want that ship steering rope, or what that is, don't know. The thing you steer the ship basically. They look like this, there's circle and there's like multiple them coming out. I can get the rope in through the middle coming out, or I can wrap around individual through that piece of piece of wood. So we're gonna play around with the rope. What I need to do now is figure out how the sun and the moon will look like. Make sure they look like they belong from the same story. One is not like too crazy out of the story, one is too feminine, and one is basic, or one is clean and one is a little bit more extra details in there, so they don't look like from one and the same sky. They need to look like one and the same sky. They came from the same place, from sky, so they need to look like they belong to there. Now we're gonna jump on the sun and the moon. I reckon this is gonna be the moon, this is gonna be the sun, because this is probably gonna be the way he sees it first, because this is on his right arm, so his eyes will be around here and he will be looking down, so which means I'm probably gonna do the sun here and the moon will be there, if that makes sense. Now we're at the stage where I kind of like all I see. We need to figure out how the water flows really nice. Because the ship is coming out from there, so probably this is gonna be the most, how to say, the most further one away, the biggest wave, the biggest splash. It kind of brings the ship out from the rope, and the rope is kind of like the place where it all comes out. It needs to come forward, makes a big splash, and of course it makes little splashes on the side. And that's kind of nice, where if this is the shoulder part, this will be the pretty much the armpit part, and that's a nice introduction into the armpit, like it goes into your next tattoo. After this rope I can create maybe another wave of the splashes, or I can put next tattoo on it, and this one overlaps that one already a little bit in a slight way, so that brings into the next piece. What we're doing now is water, and as far as I know, the water goes like this. Like it needs to go all in the same direction. You can't have water waves coming this end and then one goes backwards or goes straight. They all go literally like my fingers now. I don't know about the thumb, if that needs to be there or not, but the water goes like this. It comes and it freezes, and that's literally what they use as a, that's what they call it, fingers, like water fingers, and it freezes. And that's the caption you take here. So the water should come out that way from the side. Let me get the fingers ready. Boom, like that, freeze. That would be that section there. They freeze like that. This one comes down. I don't know the down one. I still need to like twist a little bit to show some kind of depth. It doesn't come just straight out. It needs to make that boom moment. And same goes with this one, but I don't know about this rule here. I still probably need to do that way. I'm not 1000% sure. I'll make it look good. It's not like 1000% Japanese, but the elements I'm gonna use will be from it. So that means I'm gonna stick to the one direction water fingers. What they mostly do is they make a one big one, so that would be the finger, and then this would create, let me get the focus on, and this would be the big finger, the one long one, and they would make a micro one like here in the middle, and it goes down, rejoin to the big one, goes up again. Maybe you can make little bumps here and there, but that's the big one goes down, and then a little ones there where you can see the main ones, and then the main ones creates a little small ones as well. That's what we're doing now, jumping in the water. So this is the level, how far we are now, and this is the moment I take a photo and I send to my client. So you can understand exactly what that is, but it's not finished. If I need to change, or I need to make movements, or I need to like adjust a little bit, I still got plenty of time, plenty of room. Nothing's been bold, nothing's been like properly lined. So I still got a lot of flexibility to change if I needed. So I made the moon quite simple because it's gonna be that size as it is on the paper, not really big, so that means not a lot of details. Same with the sun, made it pretty cute, stuff like that. I like the little flares coming off, what I did was I extended this, probably as a name, that piece of wood, the bar, and I added the flag going up like on top of the rope, which clearly to you says I'm out of the rope kind of thingy. So it comes out, and that going over, it clearly says I'm over that, I'm out, I'm like rope is behind me. So it could be like a past, it could be accident, it could be something like that, bad story is behind it, you coming out as a fresh and you still survived, you make big boom, big splashes, and you survive. So basically the rope goes there, goes all around, snaps and goes back together. Then it goes in, twists around, goes into the anchor, goes behind it, comes on top of it, goes behind it, goes on top of it, and gets out. What I want to remind you is the pattern as well. So when it goes like that, see the lines go that way, you have to keep carrying on the same pattern all the way through. The easiest way to do is to start from like here or from there and go in one direction. Otherwise, if you're gonna start from here, you do a little bit rope and then you jump on there, you do a little bit rope. What could happen is if your pattern could go from this to this, and if that meets in the middle and you realize you got two different patterns going face to face, that is a fail. And I think I've been there once before. I haven't tattooed that, but I'm sure I did literally did two different patterns going around and facing each other. But I think I did notice before I fine lined it with the black liners and I managed to get it off, but it's a really dangerous game to play. So the easiest way is to start from one place, wherever you pick. Either you can pick this rope, you can go all the way here or back and forwards, it doesn't matter. All it matters is the same pattern goes all around. Same with the thickness of the rope itself, not just the pattern fingers, then same thickness. Make sure the whole rope as a rope stays in the same. So you could pick like, I don't know, your pinky. It's literally the same size, goes all around, comes back, because rope can't shrink and increase the thickness by herself. The rope is one size all the way through. If you end up like thick in here and thin in there, that's a big fail. Everybody will notice and you will notice yourself and you will be embarrassed about your own design. So my suggestion is try to stay in the same thickness. I don't worry about now because I'm just gonna take a photo, send him, and we'll see what he says. But once I'm gonna be fine lining, I will be making sure every single twist and corner stays at exactly the same thickness. Nothing could possibly change. Let's take a photo, send to him, and we'll see what he says. So if you ever would decide to get a tattoo by me, this would be the process we would go through as well. I would talk to you, we would discuss the size, the placement, the style, all the little details you want, and I would know what you don't want. Not always you need to know what you want, or what the client wants, or what that specific person wants. Sometimes it's really good to know what they don't want. So it's a blacklist, so you know which items or subjects or stuff you can just put out in a bin. Don't touch it, don't think about it. Because sometimes they say, yeah, I want this, and then you wonder what they don't want. Because you have your own ideas as well, your own little spin. Once they say what they want, you kind of see the image in your head. But then you add smaller parts as well. Like a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit this, a little bit that. But then you realize, is it that what they want or they don't want? What would they say? So the easiest way is to ask them, what would you don't want? What you don't like it? What wouldn't you like it? How big you wouldn't like to go, or how, you know what I mean? Sometimes you need to know the no's as well as the yeses. It really helped me. Since I did that, it helped me a lot. I was literally like shrinking the idea down to there, and I know exactly what they want and what they don't want, and it was a lot easier for me to design for people. Once you ask the no's, it's really good. Trust me. If you're an artist and there's a client coming in, make sure you ask them what you don't wanna, and you'll be sure they will say something they don't wanna, what originally you thought you could put in that design, but they said no already, so scrap that. Or you wanna go to get a tattoo, make sure you tell him what you don't wanna. because what's gonna happen is he's gonna design, he's gonna put his ideas in there, and you're gonna put your ideas in there, and when he's gonna send back to you like I'm gonna do with him, then you run into idea where I don't want that. I don't like that one. I don't want this one. Loads of things they don't want. Turns out they don't like it. But if you would ask that in first place, nothing of that would happen, and you wouldn't get into the place where you need to redesign and redo this. I already asked him what he wants, what he doesn't want. He said no roses. I've seen all of them. There's too many of them. Scrap that. I didn't even do it. I don't need to do it, and it makes life easier. I'm not adding there, deleting, wiping, sending back. It's just too much effort. But once he says no, cool. Scrap that. I don't even do that. As you can see, we have the green light. I sent him the photo, asked him what do you think about that. I just wanted to make sure that you like the idea, the layout, the placement, and overall all the design. He said brilliant, yes. That's obviously the shoulder on top of the arm. I said yes. So what we can do is we're gonna jump on the black. We're gonna line all this, make sure it's really clean, really neat. As I said, make sure you look out for the rope. Every single line is bang on clean. Make sure all the perspective lines, I need to make sure all these there's like a bar where the sails are holding to, and I need to make sure they all go to the same direction, the same perspective. Same goes with this one. Need to make sure all these lines go in the same direction. The ends of the anchor, the middle goes perfectly straight, 90 degrees to them, and the bar goes perfectly straight. A lot to do, you know, lots of little lines. Just sent this to the client. He's well happy. He says bang on. It means like it's awesome. He loves it. This is how far we get. As I said, the rope gonna be probably for the next tattoo. I'm gonna get that carrying on maybe inside the arm. This can go down the arm, or maybe it's gonna twist. I can twist them. That goes over this area and that goes in there. Doesn't matter now. I hope you learned something good from this video. Composition wise, or line size wise, or anything like that. I don't know. It's hard to say because a lot of people like different stuff and a lot of people are on different level, so it's really hard to get. So I'm trying to make a design where it kind of teaches everybody something, and in this case this was how I represent these drawings to my clients, how we deal, how we discuss, how we come up with ideas. He wanted that originally, then he wanted to add the sun and the moon, so we added that in the process. This is how I daily talk to the people, how we come up with the designs, how we decide what we're gonna do, how we plan out the composition, the placement. For me, tattooing is a teamwork. There's me tattooing, there's he or her who is gonna wear this design, and we both need to be on the same page, which means we both need to decide what's the best for both of us. I'm happy with this design, he's well happy with this design. It's not complete, there will be loads of adjustments there and there, but as a start, as a first piece on his arm, it's cool, it's good, it's gonna flow really nice. His shoulder is gonna be there, finishing off the top of the shoulder, going inside his arm, that will go back of his arm. So when I do inside the arm tattoo, this is gonna be one side, that's gonna be another side, and that goes into the forearm section, and that kind of allows us to carry on. Give a thumbs up if you liked it, you give a thumbs down if you didn't like it, and if there's any suggestions you would like to know, or you would like to learn, or anything like that, just let me know in the comment section. I have a list. I've literally, whatever people said me to do, I wrote them down. I have a list what I need to do in the future. I had to get this done first because it's booked in. He's in next week. I just bought a GoPro camera, so I'm maybe gonna ask him to allow me to film all this, so you're gonna see how I do that in the studio as well. Not just being at home designing all this piece on the paper, but you're gonna see me literally finishing this piece as it's supposed to be. He mentioned he wants some red shading in there, so we might add that as well. There'll be like a mixture of black and grey and red pieces in there.